directly from the tent of the BroomWagon Podcast. This is Over the Shoulder, a podcast about riding on mud, jumping on steps, hopping on planks, aka Cyclocross Fest. Welcome everybody, that's Over the Shoulder. You will not get there on a road, but maybe you can also get there on a road bike, because we're talking about something that is gonna keep you awake for the full night to clean your kit. It's gonna get yourself completely banked in the morning because of that last beer that is gonna keep you fully excited for the full afternoon because of that muddy race. I'm talking about cyclocross. How cool is that? Let's keep on talking about that. This is a passion podcast. I'm gonna tell you maybe in the next episodes why cyclocross is such a piece of my heart. But for now, no. Now we have to do what we have to do. Intro this podcast. But first of all, remember to follow everything about me and about this podcast on BroomWagon Podcast on Instagram, as well as Calamaro CC on Instagram. And then let's start with good vibes, sharing with the people that made this podcast happen. I will start with the first one, Little James Arnold. Check him as well everywhere, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you want, because he was the one that created, and you saw this, the awesome animation that make the presentation of Over the Shoulder. Little James, you are an awesome person, and well, thanks a lot for keep on supporting me on that. And talking about support, I have to say as well, thanks a lot for the company that made this project happen. I'm talking about Hunt Bike Wheels. You know that I'm gravitating around that for a long time now, right? Because, yes, I went visiting them in the UK, in their headquarters. British headquarters, and it's just incredible what they're doing there. But also they just moved a couple of years ago, maybe 1 year ago, also in Germany, in Dresden, and they're doing everything because they want to be closer to their community, their cycling community. And thanks to their marketing manager, Alex, well, they decided to support this mini-series of 5 episodes. Well, Alex, thanks a lot. We are sharing together the passion for cyclocross. You are a bit closer because you were also rating it. But, we are all really supporting the passion for cyclists. And I have to say that Hunt puts a lot of efforts on that, because you can see it, right? I went visited them in UK. They have an amazing customer service that speaks directly to their customers. Customer service speaking directly with the customer. I went visiting them. And they are really taking care of any communication mile by mile with their customers, and they're testing their wheels. Everything happens, and that's really why Hunt decided to put the new headquarters for the EU market really in the heart of Europe, to be closer to their customers and to be close to all their needs in terms of ridings, in terms of aftercare, in terms of everything. Well, I love when passionate people, they're putting their hands in the community of the cyclists, because that's what it is. By supporting podcasts like mine or any other initiative, they are just supporting their community, and that's incredible. And I have to say again, thanks a lot to Hunt. Down here in the description below, you're gonna find actually a link to their website. Check whatever you think can be your next upgrade for your bike, cyclocross, gravel bike, whatever it is. I think it's gonna be worth it. Let's move forward. The first episode is together with, I'm going to actually make the classic mess, but Tobias Deprie. He organizes an awesome Cyclocross Cup in southwest Germany. And he does it for several pillars. Inclusivity is there, everybody's welcome, hobby cyclists, amateur cyclists, everybody. Developing women in cyclocross, and developing kids and young cyclists that want to start their fun adventure into cycling, and in particular in cyclocross. We are going to touch base in all his grassroots event. So I think you're going to enjoy, for the first episode of Over the Shoulder, Tobias Deprie. So everybody, we are here in the first episode of a mini-series that actually I don't know how to call it. But the thing that I know actually is that I am here with somebody who makes really, how would you say that? I don't know if actually distilling the spirit of cyclocross is the thing. Basically, it's a wizard on the cyclocross world organizing an amazing, cup of it. And I'm talking about Tobias. Let me see if I make a sense of your surname, man. Tobias Deprie. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I think it's French, what I said, but it's not. You're German, don't you?
No, it used to be French.
Okay.
A long time ago, and it's some Germanize it, then it sounds very different, but that's fine.
Okay. How do you say then?
So I usually say Deprie, so
Okay.
like more French way, but Germans like to say Deprie,
Okay.
which is very similar to a word of having a sad mood in German. But
I know what you mean. Yes, I got it.
It's like a short version of depressed, but I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I get along with it.
Deprie, then it makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks a lot. I don't know, maybe I will start from there. Do you have any suggestions of how we should call this miniseries? Come with something. Come on, give me something.
Oh.
I hope that actually when it's gonna go live, I'm gonna have already an idea, but I want to hear your opinion on that.
That's difficult.
I know.
You're into word plays or
Whatever.
Never. Okay.
Whatever.
That's the worst.
I mean, you know what I was thinking? Because we are here, I was thinking actually something like a word that is really characteristic for cyclocross races. And then thinking about kind of off Canva or whatever like this.
Oh yeah, off camera is nice. I mean, since you're looking more into the details, you're maybe looking like, let's say, behind the barrier. But there's something. It already existed from Jeremy Powers, right?
Okay.
Like he did it like 10 years ago. Wasn't it called Behind the Barriers? I have to look it up.
I don't know.
It was before YouTube was a thing.
Okay.
I think it's Jeremy Powers Behind the yeah.
Okay, yeah, because the thing that I remember...
already taken.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yeah, because Jeremy Powers, I actually have memories of him, of course, racing and on GCN. And then he was actually also in the GCN Plus. I don't know if he's still commenting. I think he still does with his career.
Yeah, he's still doing that.
Yeah.
And I think he was starting vlogs about his cyclocross career before 2010. So he was very innovative, maybe.
Yeah, he's a super. I mean, I love his content. Don't get me wrong; his commentary is just amazing.
Yeah, he's in the English commentary. He's very helpful.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm gonna figure out, anyways. But how would you say it was? Out behind the barriers, off the barriers.
I think the name was Behind the Barriers.
Okay,
and it's a good idea because you're also going behind the barriers. But I think maybe then people get confused. So
no, better not. And I don't like to hijack actually other creativity. Anyways, Tobias, thanks a lot for being here, and also thanks a lot for this hint. Maybe I should not give the miniseries a name and just start this conversation with everybody I'm gonna talk to. Let's see. No, but I'm happy actually to kick off the conversation with you. So about actually this new production that I'm doing. Basically, for me, the idea is that I was always fascinated by cyclocross forever. It's kind of one of those sports where really the community matter. And also on the other side, it's perfect for spectators. I actually raced, I think, 3 in total cyclocross races. It was horrible because I'm the worst technical handler ever. So as soon as there were planks or something like, I don't know, kind of, how would you call that? Something like ziggy-zaggy, kind of super tight curves and stuff and hairpins or whatever, I was directly on the ground, and in this case on the mud. But still, it's a lot of fun. But as a spectator, it's super nice because you can really check all over the place. The circuit is quite close by, and so it's cool to see whatever happens. And also, how would you say, the vans, and actually where people are getting warm up, and there are mechanics and stuff. It's a super open place. You can go there and have a chitty chat. I will never forget 2020. There is a video out there of myself visiting in Dubedorf the World Championship of 2020 before the world was shut down. And it was super cool because there I had conversation with everybody. I mean, from the mechanic of Celine del Carmen Alvarado, and with her as well. I got a selfie with Matthew Van Der Poel. I mean, that's the way, right? It's a big circus. It's lovely.
And even like the big stars, you can. So I visited the World Cup in Sonhoven before Christmas, and what's it called? The riders parking or whatever, where they have all the vans. You just go on it, and there's like the big stars like Mathieu or Wout, they have a fence around their van, but all the others, there's just nothing. You can just reach out for them, and maybe not before the race, but after the race, you can just talk to them.
Yeah.
Let's say you could touch them. You shouldn't, I guess. But yeah, it's really nice, and it's, even though it's growing, I think it still has this approachable side. So the big road races like Tour de France or the Flemish Classics, there you can also get very close to the riders, but not as close as that.
Absolutely.
And I think that makes cycling special, and cyclocross especially, because everyone is very approachable in the end.
Absolutely. It's everything there made for the community. So yeah, that's why I actually decided, because now at the moment we are on Monday, 20th of January, but then this episode is going to go live probably in a couple of weeks, but the season is actually finishing. I mean, it's still super winter, and because this is a winter sport, we have to say, but also on the other side, seasons of the various, I don't know, classification and tournaments and circuits are fading out, and still I want to get more. So I wanted to talk in this period with people that are part in small communities, big communities, but big in this, still in this big family of cyclocross. That's why I got actually a hint from Alex. I will never say his surname. Retke, I think his name, from Hunt, exactly. And I hope he's all right. Sorry, man, if I made a mess with your name and surname. And he gave me actually the hint, because he said, look, Stefano, you have to talk with Tobias, because he's really part of a super amazing adventure, I would say, that is actually your circuit that you're organizing. But first of all, Tobias, can you give us 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes of an intro about you as a person, as a cyclist?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Toby, 32 years old right now. And I grew up close to Hamburg, actually similar to Alex. So, and we even raced for the same club.
Okay.
We didn't knew it in advance, but I Googled his name, and then I saw some old pictures of him riding for the same club I used to ride for. And that's where I started cycling. So I grew up also cycling bike-wise around Hamburg. And I did some World Cup racing when I was a junior, but only 3 or something, with a, let's say, minor success.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still a very nice memory. So I went for, let's say, 1.5 or 2 years across Germany, and also partly across Europe with the Stevens racing team. So I was racing for the bike brand Stevens. They have a, let's say, local, regional, national team. And we were going to several races, and going to the Netherlands and Belgium and France, and went for the races, which was really nice. And I still have a lot of memories of it, but unfortunately little photos, because in that time it wasn't that easy to have a photo of you racing somewhere.
Yeah.
And then after I finished school, I moved to Heidelberg for university reasons. And so around Hamburg, there's a big cyclocross scene. There's this Stevens Cup, a regional cup, which has, I think, this year 12 races or something. And I came here, and there was no race at all, or maybe not no race at all. There were 2 very big ones, international races, but that's difficult to get started racing with the big guns. And I still followed cyclocross here. Also did like German championships, did some in the men elite category. But I always thought, there's something missing. So there's the regional level is totally missing. People don't really know what cyclocross is, and they don't have a chance to try it out. And I always thought there should be some sort of cup racing here, but it didn't develop over time. So 4 years ago now, then I decided to do myself.
Nice.
And that's how it ended up.
That's nice. Toby and cyclocross, how everything started. So how you crashed into cyclocross when you were, I don't know, your first time. I don't know how old you were.
I was, difficult to say. It was in juniors category, actually. So maybe the way I started cycling overall is also some sort of motivation why I'm doing this cup right now. So I started riding my bike with, I think, 13 or 14. And I knew there's bike racing from the TV, but for me, it was always something like, I don't know, ski jumping or bobsledging. It's a sport that exists, but it's nothing you can do on a daily basis. It's
Okay.
weird. Where do you get the bike from? How does this work? It must be super expensive. And yeah, so a friend of mine got a bike for his birthday, I guess, and it was in October. And then I said to my parents, I really want to do it. So I only had those memories of the, I don't know, the noisy Eurosport, Vuelta a España, whatever,
Yeah.
coverage. And then I really wanted to start myself. And yeah, got a bike then 50-50 for Christmas. Never had to pay my half of it because I used it, I guess. I think it was a trick by my parents.
Makes sense.
And then by accident, I found out there's a race. It only existed for 2 years in my hometown. And then I somehow, let's say, came across bike racing, but everything happened by accident. And by this, you can, let's say, see that you need to offer something that people join it. Otherwise I would have maybe stayed with the idea that bike racing is a thing that happens in the TV and not at home or not where you live. Yeah, and I started that race and it went quite well. I enjoyed it. At that time, I played a lot of, or still played in a football club, but it was always switching between teams, and one was quite ambitious, the other one was not that ambitious, and so I switched to cycling or fully to cycling. And at a small club, I was the only, let's say, junior rider, or probably the only one having a racing license.
Craziness.
At all. And then so I had some good results, I guess. And then by a friend, the Stevens racing team reached out for me, asked if I wanted to join the club and wanted to join the racing team. And since they are very much focused on cyclocross racing,
Of course.
I think even so it's very popular in Belgium and so on. A lot of professionals ride it. That's where they reached out, and then I didn't really know what cyclocross is, I guess.
Okay.
But since they were majorly doing cyclocross, I had to do it as well. And first race I went to, I just watched it, and it's really nice to watch it. It was a local race, but all the people around, all the being in outdoors, being in the forest, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so they provided me with bikes for, I don't know, let's say 8 or 10 years overall. But so they provided me with a aluminum cyclocross bike and did my first race, crashed multiple times, but still enjoyed it. And yeah, that's how I came to cyclocross. Also, let's say by accident, but I think it's a very good way to start cycling in the end.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying something that is quite cool, I would say, because I mean, you're saying that actually everything happened, yourself and the bike, everything happens by accident, right? But then one thing led to the other that led to the other one, right? And that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's just a matter of being exposed to something. You were exposed the first time on the bike because a friend of yours got a bike. And then you got into that. And then this bicycle that was just I would say, hobby, a game, a toy, brought you to racing because there was actually an event there, and then this racing brought you to a team, and everything is related to that. And that's exactly what it is. And I believe that's as well what actually led you to organize your cyclocross lead, your cyclocross cup, right? Because only by getting people to see what's happening, what's cyclocross, then they can actually start riding or racing or having fun with that. And then they will actually tell to their other friends or tell to other people, and more people are coming. And then also we have to consider, but that's something that I'm going to let you say because I'm already talking too much. You are doing this Cyclocross Cup that is all around South Germany, right? So the more you move around, so in different cities, multiple cities, the more you move around, the more people are actually traveling to race or to take part to this event. And then also the more communities that are into this place will start something new. So that's what it is, right? Showing people that there is something and we can do something.
Yeah, definitely. And I think cyclocross is so easy to get started because while racing, everyone is more or less competing with themselves, with the others around. So even if you're 48th of 50 participants, you're trying to get the next turn right. You're trying to get the next downhill in a better way than the lap before. And then you maybe get the downhill right, but the turn in the end, you miss it. So you go next lap, you want to do both of it right. And even though it's a competition, so it's competitive, definitely. You learn from each other, and so unless there are some personal issues between people, people are very friendly. So if you're checking a lot, if you're standing at a, let's say, difficult turn or a difficult uphill, downhill, you just stand there and somehow talk to each other, try to figure out how to do it right, which is the best line. And there are, if we have on a race day, we have some blocks where there's no racing, so you can do a recon of the course. And there are people who are racing men elite, who are maybe even doing international races, and people who do their first race, and they chat and try to find the best way to do it. And I think that's very uncommon for competitive sports and also for bike racing. So if you are at a road race, everyone is kind of focused and is doing their thing. I mean, I love road racing, but the community is different. It's much more about, much more competitive, let's say. So, and especially in what we are doing in our Cyclocross Cup is we're on a regional level. And southwest of Germany was, let's say, a very popular place for road racing, and it still is. And those people doing cyclocross were some weirdos. They are riding in the mud in the winter. It's stupid. Even a very good friend of mine, he knew that I was doing cyclocross, and he always thought it's stupid. I guess I'm not sure if he said it like this, but I'm quite sure he thought it's stupid. But then we were starting the racing, and he took over some so he's a professional rider, and I don't know what the English word is. Let's say he's the tutor or something for the junior races.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't know what the English word is actually.
Okay. The mentor. Could be mentor.
Yeah, mentor. Yeah,
yes, makes sense, right?
Maybe a good word for it. And then he bought a bike, and he started it, and he found out that it's fun. And that was what happened the first 3 years, I guess, or maybe till now, that all the people who are used to ride road races in the summer, if we're talking about let's say, the more organized sport, they got a gravel bike now, and now they're doing cyclocross races, and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it just for fun. I mean, some of them are quite good, others just enjoy the racing, and that's what it's about. So just enjoy the race and enjoy being outside, having a nice community. After the race, everyone comes together and it's like, oh, I missed this turn, I did this one wrong, this one went very well. And yeah, I think that was what the community is about. So after the finish line, there's always a big crowd, people immediately starting to talk about their race and chatting. Yeah.
That's what I mean, I really like actually your point that especially in the recons and everything like that. If you see a challenging point, let's say, or a tricky part, you can see actually people on the side of the parkour saying, "Okay, how would you do that? How can we do it in the fastest way?" And actually, when was it? A couple of weeks ago, Belgian national championship. I think it was. It seems like that's what I heard actually with my research and with my reading around. I'm really crazy with cyclocross. I think I listened 3 different podcasts about cyclocross racing and everything like that because I love it. But the rumor that I heard is that actually in the junior category, there was actually the person that won. I forgot her name. Basically invented together with Marion Norberto Riberolle, that then won actually the elite category for women. They invented actually in this off-camber section to go. Everybody was taking actually the line that was at the bottom of the track, and only the two of them decided for all the group, men and women. Decided actually that the top part was probably more difficult to go up there, but then you could actually get get a shortcut, let's say, and then cut faster on the curve to go up. And it's crazy, two persons, two women that are not in the same team, but just they found themselves out in the training loops, and actually they discover a way together in order basically to win their races. That's incredible. I don't know wherever it can happen. Usually, they are into different categories. You are into different kind of even just circles, right, to ride bikes. But then you find yourself there, and together you find a solution that is different from everybody else. That's nice.
Yeah, and I think maybe what's also a point with the chatting about line choices and so on is that there are some people who make really good line choices. They just don't have the physical capacity to be in the front. But there are some you really see they know what they're doing. They are not just stupidly riding where everyone else rides. They have very good line choice. On the next straight line, they're probably losing 10 seconds again. But so that's why you also sometimes you need to chat to everyone, or you take a look at everyone. What are they doing? And sometimes you see really strong riders with a poor line choice, but yeah, physically they fix it.
Yeah.
I think that's also interesting. There's more to it, more to it than physical capacity.
Yeah.
I think it's similar in mountain biking, but yeah, mountain biking is, from my perspective, no, it's not too dangerous, but I'm not a skilled mountain bike rider.
Yeah.
So all our cyclocross races, I would say you can't hurt yourself
Yeah.
majorly if something went wrong, compared to mountain biking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely yeah. I mean, mountain bike is more or less similar, right? You talk about cross country mountain bike. It's also a circuit and everything, but for sure there you have differences. That is actually this long climb or this long descents that actually can shuffle a bit things, or just put things in the right tracks for somebody and not somebody else. With cyclocross is a bit more this kind of fine balance where actually your physical skills and your technical skills can equal, or for sure can go up and down in different courses. And yeah, it's incredible. So talking about then again everything that is related. So at a certain point you went actually in Southwest Germany, living there. You were looking for something to do and a circuit actually to ride your cyclocross bike. That's what it was, and nothing was there. And then you thought, okay, if nothing is there, why don't actually roll my sleeves and start making something different. How everything happened, and tell me more about actually, how is it called, by the way? I should have it here. Is the Cyclocross Cup, you call it, right?
Yeah, so it has two main sponsors. It's called Elektroland24.de, which is an online shop for, let's say everything that you need to plug in. They have lamps and wall boxes and PV and so on. So everything.
Okay.
And the second sponsor is Wahoo. I think everyone knows
Of
Wahoo.
course. I have
So
a
they are
Wahoo watch here.
the
So
Wahoo watch. So those are our main sponsors. We have some other partners as well. And so that's what it's called. And it was not the case that there was nothing here. There were like 2 or 3, let's say, very brave organizers
Yeah.
who were organizing their races. I think from 2012, 2013 on. But they were the weirdos I was talking about already.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I was already in contact with them in advance when I was just racing, and I think we had a very nice conversation already in advance. And at a certain point during COVID, I decided to do it on my own. I think everyone got a bit bored during COVID because there was not much to do. And some started baking bread, or I don't know. And I decided that I will just try and see how to set up a cyclocross cup. And I reached out for the people who are already organizing a cup, and I was saying, I have this idea, I want to do this. Do you want to join? And I was very unsure what their ideas. So they could also say, no, why should we do this? Or what's our benefit from it, or whatever. I mean, there are benefits. Let's say if there's bad weather on the third day of racing, people will come anyway because they want to get the points for the GC.
Of course.
So that gives some sort of motivation for everyone and keep them motivated. But there was not much I could offer at that point. But happily, they joined. They said, yeah, that's a very good idea. They also had some good ideas on how to develop things. And then I had to reach out for partners, for sponsors. And I was quite happy that this Elektroland 24 brand, they used to sponsor a road team my brother was riding for.
Okay.
And but they closed it for no particular reason, I guess, just because there was a switch in. So it was an amateur racing team, and there was a switch in personal. So people got children and stopped racing, and then there was they stopped it. And he said, why don't you reach out for them? And I just sent an email, and they were like, we're in, as long as our name is the first name. So there are not too many people asking for it, so
there's not a queue out there.
So that's not a problem. And they are very reliable. So after the first year, I sent them an email, what we've done, some photos, all those, I don't know, I wouldn't call it performance indicators, but some sort of that, and said, do you want to do it again next year? And actually, Andre answered that I don't have to ask every year if there's something wrong, if they have, I don't know, financial shorts or something, they will reach out to me and say, okay, we can't do it anymore. Otherwise, I just have to see it as logged in.
Nice.
Which is super relieving. So I know I can really rely on them. I don't have to look out for major budget every year or something. So that's really saving my nerves and also makes planning so much more easy.
Yeah.
And also Wahoo was quite easy to reach out. So I just sent an email to their local distributor, and he forwarded it, and they say, it's a good idea. Let's do it.
Nice.
And so I had this base layer of, in the end, you don't need money for it, but if you want to pay prize money, if you want to have a photographer at every race, which is very important from my perspective, because everyone racing wants to have pictures in the end.
Of course.
And it even by this, it spreads out by itself. And also some like me getting to the races, having all the things running. It needs some money, and by this we have a very good basic funding and very reliable. So I'm very happy to partner up with those two. And that's how it started. And we started with I think 3 races in the first year.
That were actually the 3 races that were already around. Basically, you just collect them into a little circuit.
Yeah. So we said, well, let's do it together. And I think even that was motivating for people. So just join it. Especially, I think we also were, I don't know, difficult times, but it was in 2021, right? So COVID was still a thing. We had some struggle. So first race is always in October. October was always COVID-wise was not a big problem because the numbers were low. But yeah, going November and so on, it got more complicated. And since it was the four of us organizing, and we could also chat to each other, let's say, how do we handle this topic? What can we do? What is something that's problematic? So I think it was as I said, there's not much I could offer in the beginning. Only having this chance to chat to each other and to decide on how to deal with the pandemic stuff was something we could offer. So we started our own community there, and I think people also joined because there was not much around. You didn't know when the next race will take place, so you join what is there.
Yeah.
And yeah, by that it grew. In the second year, I started to organize one race in Heidelberg where I live. So there was one new race. Then we added one more race in Darmstadt, and now we're 6 races. And it's the second year now with 6 races, and I think that's, let's say, a limit time-wise for me, mainly because it's the weekend, or it's my weekend that I'm investing on those six race days, and also before and after there's just a lot of things to do. But yeah, let's see. Maybe we will grow a bit, but I see that a lot of races are establishing around. So there are at least 2 or 3 new races in this area, and they got motivated also by the racing that is going on. I mean, it's like everywhere. You need to plant the seed, and then everything grows. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
And the community grows as well. What I wanted to ask you, I have a couple of things that actually are going around in my head at the moment. The first one is actually the thing that you said is you started actually with the 3 races that were already in place. You basically group them together, coordinate them, also in order to find together solution, find synergies, if we can use this word.
That's a good point, synergies.
Yeah, that's actually what you did. But how everything started? So the first time that you put together the races, how was it? Were only elite men, elite women, or there were already different categories? Something like, I don't know, amateur, I think you call it, or just only under 23 or junior? How was it? And how it developed?
So my general idea on it was that we want to do regional grassroots racing. We don't reach out for professionals or something. We want to really do the grassroots, and for that, 2 or 3 ideas were like my main ideas on it. That we want to do youth racing. That's very important. It's like that's the way I came to bike racing at all. There was a youth race I could join. If there's no youth race you can join, children won't start racing. And so, or like every sport, but cycling as well, are suffering from, let's say, lower numbers of young people participating. And you need to offer things that they can join and that they also enjoy it. And I think it has to be it's a fine line between being too competitive, but children also like competition. So
of course,
if they are playing outside, they will start a competition on their own in every stupid thing you can do. Who can throw a stone the farthest or whatever. So they like competition, but you have to keep everyone motivated, because also in the end, no one benefits if only the people who are always finishing 1, 2, 3 will end up in the elite categories or in the grown-up racing. So we have to keep everyone motivated, and this can also be done by let's say what I said, I'm hiring a photographer and having nice pictures of you racing, which is also motivating, or at least, they probably like it. Second thing for me was that we want to treat female and male athletes always in an equal manner. One point of it is that we started to have the female race so we have like a whole day of racing. We start with the seniors. They're always quite some don't like that they always have the first race in the morning.
So it means 8 o'clock.
No, it's in October it's 10 o'clock. In winter it's 9:30 or 9. But I mean they sometimes they travel for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
If race starts at 9, then you have to be there at 8. So you have to start your journey at 6. So you have to get up at 5.
Okay.
I understand that some of them don't really like it, so we try to switch it that they don't always have the first race. But I mean, some also like it because they have families. They are done racing at 10. They are back home at 12, and they can spend time with them. So there are always pros and cons.
I have to say that actually, considering myself in the seniors category, we don't sleep so much, so it's all right. So it's fine.
Especially over 60, they are awake anyways.
Exactly.
So, then we have a mixture of youth categories, and then we have the female elites and the men elite racing as the last races. And if you're looking at advertisement or programs of, let's say, other bike races, then one race often is called the main event. And that's the men race. Or what they mean is the men race.
Yes. I know what you mean.
And we always try to establish it as the two main races, because definitely those are the fastest people around. They are in their gender. They have the highest number of participants. So they are the main events. But we have two of them. We have the male and the female one. Regarding the GC, we decided that we have equal prize money, or sometimes, so in the younger categories we don't have money. They just get some, some pumps or fenders or something.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
What's it called?
I know what you mean. Actually, there are prizes. Just
there are prizes, but not money.
No money prize.
And it's also, so if under 15 male winner gets fenders, under 15 female winner also gets fenders. So we really, same thing. Even though there are less women participating, but I mean that's not the fault of the women participating. It's our job to get more women there.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't change society and so on and so forth, but we try to get them there, and to have a surrounding which motivates women to join. And so what actually happened now is, since women racing or women elite racing, we have, let's say, 10 to 15 participants. If we have them on one of this, so that if they are racing before the men elite, it seems sometimes that the whole race day is already, let's say, over, because there are not too many women riding on the course, so there's not much happening. So we just added more women categories to that race. Now the under 17 women, the under 19 women, and the senior women are racing together with the women elite. They have their own classement, but they're racing together. And I think I also like to race together because it's more fun to race with 40 people than with 15. Always.
Of course. Yeah.
And my ideal is that they also, I don't know, see each other as mentors. So if you're under 17 athlete and you're racing with the elite ones, who are, I don't want to say famous, but in a regional way, people know the women who are in front in the races because they are there for the past 10 years, and maybe they can also reach out for each other and benefit from it. So that was the second idea, that we treat genders equally.
Yeah.
And third one was that we won't only do this amateur racing. So I think it's the same everywhere. You have to get this. It's in Germany. It's called the racing license.
Yeah.
And then you ride those amateur classes. And we always did also non-licensed racing.
Okay.
It's called hobby racing.
Yes.
So we have 3 categories: female, let's say an elite one under 40, and for seniors over 40. So we have three categories,
Mm-hmm.
and they also race, and we want to treat them as also some sort of equal, because for a long time, and I think it changed also in the past 10 years. It's not that we invented treating everyone in an equal way, but they pay their entrance fee. They come there, they cheer. The only thing that is different is that they don't have a racing license, but that doesn't make them like into less valuable characters or something.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes they are even more interesting, because they are not only have their focus on racing, they are some interesting people with it.
Yeah.
And that's why we also decided to put them time-wise on an interesting slot, and to give them the chance to have proper racing. So to have them at least racing 30 minutes, if it's possible 40 minutes.
Nice.
It got so popular that, let's say, the race in Heidelberg, we had, I think, 105 hobby athletes racing at the same time, which was, I think, the race here in Heidelberg the lap is quite long. It's, I think, 2.8 kilometers. Yeah. It's quite wide, so you can pass people easily. But if it's and we do it in December, so daylight is a problem. But if possible, then we decided to do 2 races, because everyone should also have a proper racing experience. If the course is too crowded, then you're always just overtaking or lapping people, and you have to always look behind to check if you're not bothering anyone, or if you're a fast rider, you always get held up.
Yeah.
So we want them to have a proper experience as well. And by this, also a lot of people switch to like amateur licensed racing. The people winning the GC, lots of them, they get a license the next year.
Oh,
because
nice.
They said, okay, I got this challenge now, and I will now try to get along with let's say, the higher category.
Makes sense. Yeah. Keep
Some
yourself motivated. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and give yourself a challenge. And also the other way around. So there are people who used to do amateur racing, and for whatever reasons, work, family, motivation, they stopped getting this racing license. But from time to time, they still race in the hobby category. And I think also that's value. That's a value.
Absolutely.
They still enjoy cyclocross racing, so they should have the opportunity to do cyclocross racing and to be with the community. And I think that's also the main reason why they are doing it, because they enjoy the whole race day. They don't only enjoy the 40 minutes of racing, they enjoy 1 hour advance and the 1 hour after.
Yeah.
And that's what it's making it so popular, I guess. So those were the 3 main ideas we had. It's not very innovative ideas, so it's not that nobody else had the idea before, but we tried to implement it from the beginning. And going back to the gender part, often, especially in road racing, but also in cyclocross, it was the way that the women categories were at 9:00, where now the masters are, because people said, yeah, but there are only so few. That's not beneficial. And from my perspective, you have to change it.
Absolutely.
I mean, what I also see right now is all our men categories or male categories they're not sold out. But if you have 105 male athletes on a cyclocross course, you can't easily add 20 more. then everything will be blocked.
Yeah.
But in women hobby category, yeah, we have sometimes 10, sometimes 14. That wouldn't be a problem to add 50.
Yes.
There is enough space for everyone. So that's where if you want to see it not from an idealistic point, but let's say a commercial point, which is not my perspective, but you can easily grow without putting effort into your infrastructure, like creating a new race or something, because there's plenty space, and we want them to join now.
That's super nice. And I really love actually this approach that you got. Everybody come over. Everybody's welcome. No matter what actually the category, or if you have a license, you don't have a license, if you're a man or woman, come over and jump into the pit and work together actually, and race together in order to have good time all together. And
and also
that's nice.
Get into contact. So
yeah.
Let's say when youth races are done and the grown-ups, it's their turn, they talk to each other.
Yeah.
They like, how did you do this? Or how was this turn? Or, course changes all the time. Sometimes this information is not very helpful because the rut changed the position, or there's a stone or a root or something coming up, so you can't do it like that. But yeah, there's always you talk to each other, and think that's nice.
Absolutely. Scouting, actually snooping into your website, I also found another thing that is super nice. In the how do you call it? Something like the hobby category. The thing that I read is that everybody's welcome. It's not that actually if you have, cyclocross is super specific, right? Getting a step back. Because in order to do cyclocross, if you are actually doing it at a competitive level, you have to have a proper bike that has actually a specific that has actually a specific tire width and a specific characteristic of the bicycle. I don't know, bottom bracket should be higher and everything like that. A cyclocross bike. Not everybody has the potential or the will or the need or the use of having a cyclocross bike. So that's the cool thing that I found actually in your hobby category is come as you are. If you have a gravel bike, you can come over with a gravel bike. If you have a flat bar bike, you can come with it. Even if you want to race with your road bike, if you feel like, come over and do it. And that's super nice. It's really something that gets to that. The gear doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is actually stay together and have fun. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I think with my friends, so a friend of mine just said I dislike everything that was invented after 1990 because I'm always very critical about all those, let's say, inventions, or I wouldn't. I would say it's invention. So everything gets more pricey, everything gets more complicated, and so I don't really like that much, and that's why I think if people want to join racing, just let them join. So sometimes we have people racing with a rack. It's not. I wouldn't race with a rack, but if you have it mounted on your bike and you don't want to take it off only for this one day, just leave it.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have your bags on it, sure, and it always have to be safe.
Of course.
I don't know what's it called, the thing you used to have in mountain biking, I guess, the little horns.
I know. See, I know. Actually, kind of the extensions, kind of to rest a bit more.
I don't know what the name for it is.
Yeah.
We decided to forbid them because
It could be dangerous.
this can be dangerous, and also rack is not fully uncomplicated because there are some sharp ends or something.
Yeah.
But as long as it looks safe, just join. And we have people racing with a single gear. Some even with a fixed gear, which I
Trackless.
really don't know how cyclocross with a fixed gear works, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
We have people joining on a mountain bike, but I think far less compared to 10 years ago. So the whole success of the hobby category and so on is definitely also built on the success of gravel biking. So people do have a gravel bike. We encourage them to join on a gravel bike because it's basically the same. There's not a big difference. That's why they can easily join. They have the bike for it. That was probably different 10 years ago when people had to buy a cyclocross bike and there was no other need for it than racing cyclocross, which is, as I already said, some kind of weird.
Yeah.
So we're definitely benefiting from it. But yeah, we like everyone to join and to try it out. And I mean, we also have people who race 2 or 3 times and then find out for themselves. It's not. I'm not into racing, but some of them, you see them at the races from time to time because they said, I like to watch it. It's nice to watch. So my club mates, or not even club mates, just my mates are racing. I'm not that much into racing, but I like to watch it because we have some kind of some nice coffee or a hot wine and have a what's it called, a bratwurst.
Of course, the sausages,
With
the
it,
hot
and
dogs.
some hot dog, and enjoy it for an hour. And it's so nice. You can talk about it, and they don't even race. They just join for fun, and that's also fine. So we don't want to force people for competition, but I think if you put it in a nice way and be open, and always find solutions for them. So if someone is writing an email in advance with, I don't know, often we have it in youth categories. If so, till under 15, you're allowed to race with a mountain bike. If they're asking if they can ride a mountain bike in under 17, then it's fine. You maybe need to say, okay, you can't be in the results in the end because it says no mountain bikes, but you can race. It's fine. And if they enjoy the racing, they might get a gravel, cyclocross bike, whatever, and they rejoin. But if you don't encourage them and give opportunities to join, then that's difficult. And it's the same with the hobby category. So yeah, I mean, we're also definitely taking advantage of those 2 big cyclocross stars, Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel. I guess if it would still be, I don't know, Toon Aerts and Elisabeth, it wouldn't be as popular and people maybe wouldn't also know about it. But like this, it's really nice. And we are always happy for people trying it out.
Kids and motivation, Toby. I know, actually, I got to know that you made something this year to actually trickle a bit this motivation for kids. So I differentiate. You are going to tell me. You tell me what it is.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning of my answer, that one of our pillars is to motivate young kids to take part in our races and to keep them motivated, not only to keep the winners motivated, but keep everyone motivated. We introduced a new classification this year where every rider of a club in the youth categories collects their individual points and they are added up to the classification of their club. So saying that, every rider you bring to the race will also collect to the club and to the team ranking. And I had that idea in summer, and I came up to Alex Bethke from Hunt with it, and we actually liked that idea, and they had 2 really nice prizes, 2 wheel sets for the winning and the second team, provided by Hunt. So they can now use it as a spare wheel I don't know, I remember it from the time when I used to ride for Stevens. We always had spare wheels in case that, I don't know, wheel breaks down or you have 2 flat tires and running out of wheels, you can just borrow it and put it back. So maybe they can use it like that, or they can use it for, I don't know, now they only need to buy a frame and then they can build up a club bike, which then can be used by other kids there. So yeah, and I enjoyed that, especially for the female categories or the young girls. They were very important for this classification. So they also collect their points, and since unfortunately they are not as many as the boys, they automatically, let's say, collected more points. And so if you want to be up front next year in this classification, maybe bring your big or small sister, and hopefully so that she enjoys racing and that she gets in contact, and that will bring you up in this classification. So that was our idea, to also motivate the clubs to try it out and to bring new kids and to make them enjoy racing. And by this, they hopefully stay with us and they will come back.
Absolutely. No, the thing actually that you're saying is super cool, because something that I want to highlight, you were saying, yeah, people are just hanging out even if they're not racing. And that's the spirit of cyclocross, right? I mean, the cyclocross supporters and their tent where they're playing music and talking about pros. But actually, the cyclocross supporters in elite races, but also actually in regional races, they're most probably as important as the cyclists themselves, because actually that's the community. I mean, that's actually the cheering up, the staying together, the drink a few beers or get the nice cup of glue wine or whatever it is, and just staying there together, getting completely muddy and having fun like kids. That's like what it is, being there like full cover in dirt like kids.
Yeah, and especially if you have some iconic parts on your course. Let's say here in Heidelberg, we are crossing a volleyball field 3 times, I guess, which is very nice from university. So it's on university ground, and they allow us to go there every winter and do the digging. And so it's really nice that we can also cross this. And there are a lot of people, and there's always some sort of curiosity for, let's say, people going over the handlebars, but
of course,
yeah, of course. But they so until now, nothing major, no major injury happened, so it's fine. People like to watch this crazy, what I said, the weird thing became a bit more crazy in a positive way. So they love to watch people going through the sand, and sometimes they reach the end and everyone is cheering, and if people are going down, they are also with it. And I think that's what it's about, and that's also what is fun about just going to watch. And also, if you look at this hobby or just doing cycling for fun thing, is that in winter you don't often see your friends.
That's true.
Or your bike friends, because maybe you go for a ride on a weekend, but it's cold or rainy and then you don't do it or whatever. And I think those races also a chance for the whole cycling community. For example, in this case, Heidelberg or Mannheim or whatever, to meet up again. And sometimes you meet people you haven't seen for 10 years because they saw, oh, there's this cyclocross race. I want to go there. I want to watch it. There's a friend of mine. I used to train a lot when I was still taking it serious, and he was a professional, and now he's working with the Luxembourg Federation.
Oh, nice.
And I think after he finished his career, we met 3 times by accident somewhere.
Yeah.
And before that, in winter, we used to train like twice a week. but he was busy, I was busy.
Of course.
And suddenly he showed up at one of the races here in Heidelberg because he said, yeah, I saw it, I wanted to go, it's fun. So it also gets the community together on let's say cold winter days.
Yeah.
And especially, so you and your friends are 10 people and 2 are participating, then you're going there because there's a reason to go there.
Absolutely.
And so that's a nice thing, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. You can still do Swift and Discord, right? But it's not the same thing.
No.
I mean, let's take the conversation in 2 seconds. I mean, in another time, a couple of years ago, I would have chipped a lot of coins into my COVID jar because we're talking about COVID. But COVID taught us that we can still do a lot of things at home instead of going outside. Working from home, that's something I'm doing all the time. Or these kind of interviews on the podcast, instead of coming and visiting, doing something online. Riding bikes indoor was all right, and still you could be with your friends with headphones and talking with them. But there are some things that are way better together. Again, for sure, it's a great opportunity for us to talk like this because we're into different part of Europe. But still, if we could do this one better in person, would be a different shot. Or on the other side, if we could go out for half a day riding, racing, supporting our friends, would be way better than having a phone call or chatting or a chat on WhatsApp where you're saying, I got third at this place. Oh, cool. Good for you. A couple of emojis. And that's it. It's different, right? And that's the thing. That's the power of communities. That's the power of friendship, being together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's super nice. You were telling us actually to go a bit more into a couple of details that you are also organizing a race in Heidelberg, right? What's the difficult of putting together? So we understood more or less what's the job of coordinating the cup, right? But what's the difficulties on organizing a real race and not only coordinating a group?
So maybe first things first, I was quite happy that there were these other organizers and I could just ask for, how do I do this? So maybe point 0, not the first point. The point 0 is that you have to find out how the institutions work. So
yes,
how do I register a race with the German Federation? Those institutions are, I would say, they are helpful because they have their processes and you know how to get along. So if you registered with the German Federation and they accept it, then they take care that you will have, I think it's called referees, right?
Yes.
So they make sure that you get enough referees. You don't have to take care of anything. So there are a lot of things which are institutionalized, which is very nice. But there are also some things, as always with those federations, you're like, oh man, why are you so complicated?
Yeah, of course.
But from my point of view, it's always, if it's bothering you, then try to change it. Try to reach out for them, or not do it yourself, but not always do it yourself because you can't do everything.
Of course.
But try to change it in a way that we can have a certain way of innovation in our cup or whatever, which was also a part in getting together as a cup. So we have a timetable, and we had some struggles with it because we have this different race durations. So some are riding 20 and 30 minutes, and they are in one race. And in the beginning, everyone always said, "You can't do this; it's too complicated." But we established it, and now it's working fine. We got some input by the referees. They said, "Oh, we can't recognize who's 20 and who's 30 minutes." We fixed it with a yellow pin or something, badge on the arm, so you can see it from 50 meters. And the other way around, they said, okay, now it kind of works. That makes everything easy. So you always have to discuss things. And when we were starting the race here, it was also nice to fall back on the Cyclocross Cup procedures. So we knew which races, we knew the timetable, and so on and so forth. I think that also makes it easier for organizers. But I think the most complicated thing about doing a cyclocross race is finding a location.
Oh yeah.
Especially in southwest Germany, because it's quite dense populated, and every nature-like part is used somehow. So either it's a natural reservoir, maybe that's too high, but it's somehow protected, so you can't race your bikes through it, or it's already used by some other club or some other institution, or you show pictures of it, and then they're Googling cyclocross, then they're looking at, I don't know, Wout van Aert fully in mud, in this whole puddle of mud, and then they're like, you won't do this to our land, you can do it somewhere else.
Okay.
So first of all, you have to talk a lot to, so our race takes place at University Ground.
That's nice.
Which is organized by some sort of regional authorities. So we had to reach out for them and describe it and so on. And in the first year, we had at least 2 visits at the ground and to make sure what we want to do. And they said, you can't go here, you can't go here, you can't go here, but you can go there and there and there. You can't, I don't know, cut the branches of this tree, but you can cut the branches of that tree.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing is to get this kind of appointment with whoever owns this land or is in charge of it. And then you can always explain, we know from other races, the grass will be green, the tree won't get hurt, and if it doesn't, we will willingly come back in spring and put some new grass there and take care of it. And but that's very difficult to find a suitable place. That's the hardest part. And then it might be difficult to have a good racetrack on whatever ground you could get for the race, and then you have to work on this one. But I think the hardest part is to organize the first race.
Okay.
And in our case, it was kind of muddy, but not too much, and everything was green again in May or something. And they said, okay, obviously it works. You can come back.
That's nice.
And,
Perfect. How does the... I have 2 questions, actually. The first one is, how does the classic cyclocross rider that joins your team, joins your cup, look like? So who is coming?
Oh, yeah, well, it's quite hard to say who's the prototype participant in our races. So, as I already told, we have very, very young kids racing from the age of 8 maybe, or 7. I always recommend 8 or 9 to get started, because then they can also compete with the others. We have people who probably never really raced at all, so they are doing their first races with us. They really do their first steps at our races, and we always try to motivate them and encourage them to try it out, because a lot of people, they try it once and they come back. I mean, they don't have to come back for all the races of the year. There are some courses people say, I'm not experienced enough, but there are enough courses which are not too demanding, so it's always something in between. And we always try to encourage the people. We have this beginner blog on our homepage, so people, of who I know that they started racing recently, I try to make them writing a blog article just to inform the others who are not sure if they want to join, what to look on, what is important. And that's always, I always like to read it, because there are also very diverse people who do it the first time. But we also have very, very experienced people joining our races. So, for example, in the first race overall in 2021, It was Heinrich Hausler who took part. So back when he was a professional in his late career, I guess he found cyclocross and fell in love with it. So he even did a world championship later that year, I guess. And especially the friend I was talking about in the beginning of the podcast, it's Max Walscheid, and he's professional with Jaco Alula. And he was the guy saying that he doesn't see a sense in having a cyclocross bike, and that almost fully changed. So now he, if there's a chance to take part in the cup races, he does so, and he's tutoring the youth categories. He tries to do the ceremony or something when he's around. So it's always a bit complicated with training camps and race schedule and so on. But he tries to be around, and I think it also shows that neither Heinrich Hausler or Max were frequently winning races or were far ahead. So they are both of them usually finishing top 5. And I think that also shows that cyclocross is different to road racing. And from Max, I know that he actually enjoys racing with his friends and really race them. So if I would go outside with him and we on the road and we do a race for 1 hour, I would probably lose 20 minutes. And during cyclocross, I mean, I also lose some time. I can't keep up with him, but he can just easily race people in winter and get some efforts in. So it's very hard to say who the prototype participant is. And that's what I like about and what I like about it, and what probably also all the people who come to our events like about it.
Nice. And do you have anything to share with us about the women's field?
And also in the women's category, so I think also in the first year it was Chloe Hosking who joined. Now Jule Merkel recently joined, or San Beutigam, so also talents who will find their way on the road. So I think that's also very important. As I said, that young people racing cyclocross can look up to some sort of their idols and get in touch with them, because our events, they are not like, there is no VIP area and there is no fence between anyone. So if you meet someone on the in the parking area, which is the back of a supermarket or something, you can just reach out for them and ask them, and so that's what I really like about it.
Nice. On this topic, actually, the last question I wanted to ask you, give me, please, a juicy anecdote. Something cool that happened to your race. Could be to you. The cup race, the Cyclocross Cup race. Something that happened to you personally, or something that happened to somebody in the race, something that happened at a race. Tell me more.
Phew, that's that's a difficult one. I think what is getting, or which is getting to me the most, is when I see that there are people enjoying it. So from me originating the whole Cyclocross Cup and so on, it was always step by step, and one step led to the other, and it's also sometimes it's very stressful, and you're like, it's stupid. I could just, I don't know, go ride my bike myself and not writing emails to whoever and wasting my time on it. And if you then go to a certain race, or I had it this year in the second race of the year, and last year in Heidelberg, because we switched the location there. And if you come around a corner or something and you actually see that there are a lot of people watching and a lot of people enjoying it, and then I get some sort of, not touched is maybe too much, but I really see, oh yeah, nice, because there are a lot of people coming around saying, oh, it's so nice, nice that you do it, and thank you very much, and so on. But that sometimes gets lost in all the stress. Now it sounds very negative, but in all the hustle that you need to invest, then you forget about that people like it. And
Nice.
sometimes I have this moment, I see, really, they really like it. Just today I received an email of someone, let me check, he wrote something really nice. Let's see if I can translate it easily. He just wrote that the cup is one of his absolute highlights of the year.
Nice.
And he's already looking forward to next year. And those are small moments when I think, okay, people do really care about it. I should go on.
Absolutely.
at least for one more year then. And I think that's what I like, and I think that's also what stays with the participants. So if they finish and if they like to come back, that's what I think that's what I like the most. If the people enjoy the race, they enjoy the whole day, some stay for 3 hours inside and just chat, and that's what I really like. I think that's the best part about it.
The last thing that I want to ask you before actually leading to the end. Why do you like cyclocross? I know it's sharp.
I think, it's a, it's a difficult one, no, but I think there are different perspectives. So as a rider, I really like this challenging part. So if you do road racing and you're not in shape, you get dropped after, I don't know, 3 of 30 laps. You get lapped after 5, and then you're out of the race. There was not even a reason to come there if you overdo it a little bit. And racing cyclocross, you can. So let's say I was racing myself on Saturday. Some sort of missed the start, was somewhere back in the field, didn't fully enjoy what I was doing, and then I rearranged my mind somehow and said, okay, it's the last race of the season. It's 6 laps left. Just enjoy it. Just try to get every corner in the way you want to do it and just get into it. And after 2 or 3 laps later, I really felt the flow, and I was going faster and faster.
Nice.
And I was, not super fast. I finished somewhere mid-pack, but that's what I really like about racing cyclocross. If you adjust your mind to it in the right way, you enjoy it no matter your. I think maybe sometime you can even see it with, I don't know, Mathieu van der Poel. He actually enjoys racing. He doesn't have to do it. Same Wout van Aert. He's not doing it for the money. He's not doing it for whatever. You need to like it. And even seeing them racing, you see they like to challenge, maybe not to challenge themselves in the same way, but they like to challenge themselves in racing cyclocross, and that's what I really like in as a rider, because it starts from the regional one here, and then you go to national level, international level, world championships. Everyone is struggling with the same.
It's true.
Getting the next turn right and the next turn right. So that's what I like as a rider. And as an organizer, so recently one guy who's not even racing, he was just watching. He came over and said, we were riding our bikes here. This was some sort of group ride, and he came across and he said, what I really liked about it is that it's not too competitive. I saw people, they just enjoyed it. And I think that's, so everyone can join a cyclocross race and enjoy it, as long as you have maybe a small amount of courage or boldness to maybe go down. So that's what you have to expect. But everyone can join and everyone will enjoy it. Maybe you shouldn't join a national race, just join the regional one. But that's what I really like. It's so open to everyone.
That's nice. Toby, really the last question. Where can we find you on the internet, the Cyclocross Cup, everything, where we can get next information? Because, I mean, you just closed, you told me, the season last weekend, but in a couple of months, let's say, you are starting all the machine again to start the new season. So we can't wait to see more.
So we play on every field on the internet. No, so we have our own homepage, which is cyclocrosscup.de.
It's going to be written down here in the description, by the way.
Yeah, so there you can find almost anything that's important. So when do the races take place? What's the standing, and so on and so forth, and the links for media coverage. So photographers, if everyone who's taking photos can send the link to me. We'll share it, and also some text about, like, if the next race is coming up, I will just write an article saying, okay, this is what you can expect, what is who registered, and so on and so forth. Then after the race, I will do another report saying that is what happened.
Nice.
It takes way more time than it should, but so maybe just to get off track again, I was thinking about stopping writing these reports because it takes freaking long time. And then I said this to someone who said, no, I like to read it every time. I was like, shit.
Even just if two people are doing it, two persons are saying that, you have to stick on that.
Yeah, that's the problem. And then we're doing Instagram, which is a very complicated name, but it's Elektroland 24.
Yeah.
And then you should actually already see our cup. There we mainly we always have some photos of the races. We do some reels, some, let's say, not high value, but very good video content. And we even have a YouTube channel.
Oh, nice.
Where we normally have like one reel video a year, where we have a really good photographer. She actually started doing her first commercial jobs with us, and she's now doing very big jobs, and she's doing a really, really good job.
Nice.
And on YouTube, we put a lot of things, mainly shorts. People just filmed next to the race, and we just cut them together. And maybe it's more junk content, but you can watch a lot of videos there and get an idea on what it's about. Yeah, I think those are the main channels we're working on now.
Perfect. Toby, thanks a lot for the chat. I really enjoyed so much the spirit, the joy, the passion that you're putting on what you're doing. And
Thank you.
Every time that we talk, actually, we had another talk on the phone last time, and the feeling that I have, really, I need to jump on the bike and go out to do some raids, some loops in the mud. That's what it is.
Well, you're always invited.
Of course, I told you, right? I mean, my main job is actually also happening close to that, is in Kirchenbolanden, so not so far away, actually, it's actually in southwest Germany. So maybe next year, 100%, at least one race is going to be mine. I'm going to just need to check which one, but for sure.
Yeah, then reach out for Alex. And you can do it together.
Yeah, but I mean, Alex is too strong for me. By the way,
but he's also in hobby category.
So absolutely, exactly. We're gonna start together and we're gonna go for it. Yeah. I think it's a great idea. Toby, thanks a lot for the chat, and the best of luck for everything. And we're gonna talk soon. I'm pretty sure on that. And thanks a lot, Tobias, with this awesome chat. What do you think, people? I mean, I told you already during the episode, I was talking about that with Toby, and I'm going to southwest Germany quite often. My 9-to-5 has one office base in Kirchenbolanden, so Rhineland-Palatinate, and I'm always looking for some routes to ride in that area. But now, knowing, unfortunately just at the end of the cyclocross season, that there is a Cyclocross Cup happening there, well, it's going to be another good reason to go in the next trip to the German office just to ride my bike and bring my bike again, just to get mad and be happy in the middle of a huge party like only cyclocross can be. Thanks a lot, everybody, for arriving till here. I'm gonna tell you about my passion about cyclocross in these 5 episodes, now 4, and I hope you're gonna appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Hunt, for the support. Thanks a lot, Alex from Hunt, for helping me out of building up this mini-series. I'm just the proudest of having such an amazing support from you people. And yeah, now the season is over, right? Cyclocross. I mean, now I'm talking to you, it's Monday, February 3rd. Last weekend, we saw the amazing ride between Fan Van Empel and Lucinda Brand on Saturday. And also on Saturday, we saw Tibor Del Grosso winning the rainbow jersey for the under 23. And then we saw, Matthew Van Der Poel. And we saw Zoe Backstedt as well, winning their rainbow jerseys. And now we are just here thinking about next year. But no, the weather outside is still going to be muddy, still going to be wet. It's going to still be good time to go outside on really thin, slim tires on muddy surfaces. And it's going to still be time to listen to the other episodes of Over the Shoulder. I'm going to talk to you next week again with Over the Shoulder because it's going to be once a week. Are you happy with that? I'm already tired, but it's so cool. Talk to you next week.